Are you wondering what is the best way to deal with your out of control children? Just a few years ago, my kids had completely taken over my home and my life, and they were completely out of control. Three of them were diagnosed with ADHD. My youngest was diagnosed with ADHD as well as oppositional defiant disorder. And I was following everything that the psychologists and the therapists were telling me to do, and nothing was working to get my kids to actually work with me as a team. It was like every day was so stressful. I was lost, I was hopeless, and I was thinking that maybe when I became a grandma, yeah, maybe that's what life was all about. It was when you became a grandma, then you could really enjoy yourself, right? I was just floored, right? I would look up articles, videos, I read parenting books, I watched Super Nanny. I tried it all, and everything just seemed to make my kids a little bit more angry, and it seemed to make them act out even more. But then I had an epiphany. I had the blinders taken off of my eyes when I realized that nothing that the experts were teaching me to do, speak authoritatively, put them in timeouts, tell them on their level what's wrong, and show them that you love them. Like nothing was actually teaching my kids what I actually expected from them. Now think about this. If I said to you right now, don't turn your head right, don't turn your head to the right, don't do it. Do you know which direction I actually want you to turn your head? And that confused look that you have on your face right now, I don't know, up, nope, we don't do that. Down, nope, we don't do that. The confusion that you have right now of which way does she want me to turn my head is exactly how our children feel when we tell them, no, we don't do that. No, we don't jump on the couch. No, we don't pee on the floor, whatever it is. They don't understand what we actually want them to do. And in 2011, right when I was just at the edge of despair, crying in the bathroom really on a daily basis, going, what am I supposed to do with these kids? I had the answer come across my path. And I actually met a gentleman named Thomas Liotta. And when I saw him speaking with my kids, I saw my children come to life. I saw them motivated. I saw them begin to engage and help me out more. And I really didn't understand what he was doing at first. But after the second or third time that I saw my youngest, especially my oppositionally defiant child, step to the pump and engage and clean his room happily, go to bed at night for the first time in his life happily, I knew that Thomas was onto something. And I began to research him and ask him questions. And over a 6-month period of time, I started to make some changes. And I saw that I had all the arsenal and all the power within myself and within my home to wake my kids up, to engage with them, to authentically motivate them to actually work with me as a team. And it was when I began to give them attention up front. I began to teach them life skills, hands-on, tell them up front exactly what the expectations were. And you know what I realized? I realized that my kids actually did want to please me. They wanted to be happy and know what their expectations were. They wanted to learn life skills. They wanted to help around the house and learn responsibility. They truly engaged. And what I saw more than cooperation with me was I saw my kids began to cooperate and play with each other. I saw them begin to set goals for their own lives. And they really did take on a new zest for life. And over the last 7.5 years, I've researched parenting from the beginning of time to where we are now. And I realized that just 100 years ago, there was no such thing as ADHD, no such thing as oppositional defiant disorder, no such thing as many of the child behavior disorders that are being labeled on our kids today. They didn't actually show up till 1968. 24 years after the introduction of naughty time, or what you and I now know as timeouts, 24 years after that, then ADHD was introduced. But you know what's even more funny about that? Timeouts were introduced in 1946, and in the middle of the 1950s, 10 years later, the term terrible twos was coined into a phrase. And you know what? I'm here to tell you, you haven't tried everything when it comes to parenting if you're still dealing with out of control children, because just like 1500 years ago when we thought the earth was flat, we realize now the earth is not flat, or at least most of us do. We thought 500 years ago that the earth was the center of the universe, and we realize now that the sun is actually the center of the universe. And so all of this time, since the beginning of time, we've been taught that when a child does something you don't like, you do something that they don't like back to teach them a lesson. But what if our children actually came to us with empty minds, like blank slates, like they don't know what it means to use manners. They don't know how to sit in a chair or how to hold a fork. They don't know how to ask for something that they want in a nice way. They've got a very immature, toddlerish, no words to express themselves way to make things happen. And rather than take that child and put them in a timeout, we must begin to teach them exactly what to do to get what it is that's important to them. And when we make this shift, everything in your life will change. I've documented the history of parenting, the cause of ADHD and ODD and a lot of these other childhood behavior disorders. And I've drawn out a crystal clear formula exactly what you can do to begin making a change in your home with your kids right now. I strongly suggest go to learntospeakkid.com, get our book, Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids, and we also have a free masterclass there. It's all about ODD and ADHD awareness and solutions. My name is Bonnie Liotta. My husband and I are authors of Learn to Speak Kid, as well as Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids, and we're the founders of Creating Champions for Life. And we now have families all over the world making some serious changes in their parenting and in their home and seeing the results, amazingly phenomenal, happy, joyful results with their kids. Look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.